since this car is an automatic, so what we need to do next is go ahead and remove this top bracket. That's the bracket that holds the transmission in. And then just to the left of that, there's a hole. It's an access hole. There's the access hole right there. Take the cover off, and there's a bolt. We need to remove all 4 of those bolts. Remove the bolt, spin the engine about 90 degrees, remove the next bolt, and rinse and repeat. So let's do that next. Cool. Got it. Turn the engine. And right now I've got all the spark plugs out, so it has no compression. Should make things a lot easier. Okay, slowly turning it. Just one right there. Okay, update. All the bolts are out of the torque converter. We have the transmission supported with a jack and a block of wood. We have this piece taken off. This is the top transmission mount. Is there anything else?
We hit it with a hammer.
Okay, so we hit it with a hammer, and we have the engine supported at the factory lift points, and now we have screwdrivers in there. All right, and we have a gap. So the hardest part was definitely breaking that seal for the initial gap. So you just have to be persistent, shake on the engine every once in a while, and now we have to get it up over, let's see, the factory engine mounts. There's a stud that goes into the subframe here, and then a stud that goes into the subframe over here. So we're gonna have to raise the engine up high enough to let those studs clear, and we should be able to pull it straight out towards the front of the car. All right, hang on, let me, then we'll go up on the cherry picker a little bit. All right, you ready? And we'll start jacking up on it. Go around the engine, make sure there's nothing else catching, no wires catching, hoses. Yep, there we go. Okay, here we go. Is there anything on that side? I think it's just that one harness, right? And we may have to pull the carpet out first. So now we have the brake pedal out of the way. Let's go ahead and move on to the firewall and see how the clutch master cylinder is going to mount up. Alright, so the factory brake pedal just mounted to the post on the brake master. The new one is the clutch and the brake pedal together. And there's an arm that goes all the way over past the gas pedal, and it's going to go through this factory slot. So let's go ahead and pry that open and see if we have to cut a hole in the firewall. Okay, cool. So it's already there. We'll just pop those rubber plugs out, and we can run the clutch through those. Ta-da! And that's how that works. The clutch moves that long bar that goes across the top of the brake pedal. See if I can get a better picture of that. That's right. And it moves that lever, which pushes the slave cylinder. Very cool. Just had to grab it with the crooked pliers. Now the pedals are in, let's take a look at the wiring. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. Let's take a look at this. So the top harness here, this is the main dash harness out of the 04. The bottom harness here is the one we just pulled out of the 02. So as I was routing the top one just to go ahead and put it into place, I noticed a difference. And there's multiple differences. So if you look at this plug here, this goes in above on the passenger side. Let me show you where that goes. So that plug right there, that is a plug on the 02 that is not existent on the 04. So through that plug, it routes into the fender well, up and over the wheel, and then it goes to the ABS pump. So that was one of the big differences I noticed right off the bat, is the 04 harness has the plug for the ABS, and the 02 does not. So this is the fuse box for the 02, the wiring harness for the 02. And I was looking right above that. This is one of the main harnesses that comes in from through the firewall, through the fender, into the driver's side. And on this, there's no plug up here, and there's no plug on the side. But if you look at this harness, there's a plug on the top and that blue plug on the side. A lot of those wires in the front are ran down the driver's side on the 04, and instead on the 02 they're ran down the passenger side. So we have a couple of different options here. One being that we can go back to the 02 harness, back into this 02 car, and just try to add the clutch pedal, and just try to add the clutch pedal wiring. The only problem with that is to make sure it works with the cruise control. So my thoughts are, we'll just go ahead and continue on with the progress, pull all the wiring out, finish pulling out the wiring for the 04 that goes down the driver's side, run that all to the front, which goes to the fans, headlights, park lights, ABS pump, air conditioning sensors, all of that, even the fuse box under the hood. Pull all of that out of the 04 and run it in the 02. Okay, here's the update. So now we're pulling out this main fuse box from the 2002. We're going to replace that with the harness with the one from the 04. So that means we're going to have to run the harness that goes underneath the fender all through there, and then into through the firewall, through the fender well, into the front of the car. And that harness also goes all the way down through the bumper, through the ABS sensors. We had to remove those. It's going to also involve the anti-lock brakes, and all the way down through the fan harness, radiator, down the radiator support, all the way back. All those wires are coming out. We're going to switch them out with the 04.